Canterbury Cathedral, the mother church for Anglicans all over the world and a magnificent medieval building. Like Liverpool Cathedral, it's the sheer size and presence of this cathedral that first grabs you. Yet despite its impressive nature, every detail is beautifully finished. Well, nearly every detail. For over 100 years, there have been 2 empty niches on the west front of the cathedral, but they are finally being filled by new statues of the Queen and Prince Philip to celebrate the Diamond Jubilee. For sculptor Nina Bilby, this is the culmination of 2 years' work.
This large lump here is how they arrived. It's around 18 months between this and this.
Nina made models in other materials before turning her tools to the stone, but there were some unexpected challenges on the way.
On the half-size model, his head was slightly turned more, so I had to cut his head off before I started and glue it on more tilted. So we had a terrifying 10 minutes where I took a saw to this thing and then had to glue it back on. Poor old boy. You get a conversation of they're very comfortable standing with each other. You get all the detail of the sculptures facing slightly away. And yet the turning of the head, especially with him, and the slight tilt down almost suggests he's saying something or has said something to her. And, you know, they're a couple.
With just 2 days to go before an historic royal unveiling, I asked Dean Robert Willis about the place of these new statues in the life of the cathedral.
I think this has been a creative community since it was first founded over 1400 years ago by Augustine, so that in telling England's story on the West Front, which is what those statues try to do, it's essential that we bring it up to the present day. And then later on, this will be history, and people will look back and say, look how creative they were in 2015 and how much they believed both in this place of pilgrimage, but also in this nation and its role in the world.
With history being made, I was thrilled to meet Nina for an exclusive sneak peek.
They look fantastic. Are you pleased with them?
I'm over the moon with them, yeah.
I really want to touch them.
Do.
Yeah.
Do.
Oh, I can't believe I can do this. I've got to take my gloves off. I mean, because do you know, I think it feels as if I'm going to touch the fabric.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
You've just done such a brilliant job with all the sort of texture through the stone.
Yeah.
Wow. What was you hoping to achieve?
Something a little bit more human than the ones that are already on the building. They needed to match the ones in the building, but also they needed to be a little bit more contemporary, a little bit more relaxed and more human.
I think that's a great word. And how do you feel about, you know, the Queen actually coming along and seeing this?
It's terrifying, I have to say. You know, a living monarch, she will see this. She will, you know, the person's going to be in front of me. It's very different doing a posthumous image. You have to have some humility about what you're making.
And on top of that, I mean, you are part of history now. What's it feel like to be part of the legacy of this amazing building?
I know. I can't answer that. I don't know. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. I'm so thrilled.
Canterbury Cathedral has been described as the story of England in stone, and on Thursday a new chapter was written. Her Majesty the Queen and His Royal Highness Prince Philip were welcomed by Nina and the entire cathedral community. It was the first time in history the royal couple had unveiled statues of themselves, tributes in stone to a remarkable reign and life of service.
Here in Liverpool Cathedral's tower, they have the highest and the heaviest peal of bells in the world. And I'm going to be having a go at trying to ring them later on. But first, the Wilson family are 3 generations of hand bell ringers from Dunblane.
I'm Malcolm Wilson. This is my wife Helen. This is my son Adam, and this is my daughter Eleanor.
I'm Elizabeth. I'm Malcolm's mum, and this is my son Douglas.
And together, we're members of Dunblane Cathedral Handbell Ringers.
The handbell group in Dunblane Cathedral started in 1977. The mix just changes from year to year. At the moment, we have about 40 or 50 ringers of all ages, intergenerational. Handbells, or bells that are small, have been mentioned in the Bible, in the Old Testament. And then as years go on into the early Celtic church here in Scotland, handbells were used by the missionaries going around the country evangelising. Nowadays in a church, the handbells are used fairly regularly as part of the mix of music. It'll be helping add colour to singing of hymns. And part of the mission, if you like, of our church group, our handbell group here in Dunblane, has to try and spread that.
Because it's a family thing, it means that when we play together, we can sort of feel more spiritual together, and it adds that faith aspect.
It's a great introduction into music for both retired people coming back and looking for something that would stimulate their brain and give them a workout on an upper body workout even.
In a vocal choir, then people need to have a voice, they need to be able to sing, and many people feel that they just don't have that.
The appeal of handbell ringing is that anyone can play it. It's accessible to everyone, it's not elitist.
You can start with just one note. You can learn just what you need to know for that particular piece, and you can make really nice music very, very quickly.
And now a hymn sung to this tune, Ye Banks and Braes, from the congregation of Dunblane Cathedral. The last lines of that hymn ask God to disentangle peace from pain and make your broken people whole. And I'm sure that that's a sentiment shared by many 70 years ago as the Second World War drew to an end. On the 8th of May 1945, people took to the streets to celebrate VE Day, Victory in Europe. And to mark the 70th anniversary, we would like to hear your stories about that time.